Hey, don't look too good, fellas. Let me check my flame safety lamp here. Uh-oh, she went out. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Hey everybody, welcome to the channel, Dakota Prospecting. Now, before I even begin, I want to thank all my subscribers and my new subscribers for coming on board to the channel. It gives me motivation to continue to do these types of videos for y'all, so I really appreciate it. Makes a difference, believe me. Thank you. Just wanted to say that because I really mean that. I found another one, fellas, and it took a while, but I'll tell you what, it's worth it. There's not much left above ground, but there is some interesting underground workings that I'm going to take you to. And that's what makes this one unique, is we're going under, people. We're going under. So it's going to be great. So before we do that though, let's go around and check to see what remains above ground so that we can kind of get a feel for it. So what do you say we get going? Now this is the remains of what appeared to be one of the main buildings. Not much left. They didn't restore this one like they did Gold Mountain, so this is what Gold Mountain would have looked like had they not went in there and put that back together somewhat. There's more remnants, and I believe it was for that building, and it goes all the way over there. So it was probably about, I'd say 25 foot in length, and you've got sleepers there on the ground where they probably use for a sill plate. Now if we take a look at the nails, these are wire nails, okay? They're not cut. So we're probably talking, you know, the 30s, somewhere in there where they set this place up, because I don't see any cut nails. So that's not 1800s for sure. These are wire nails. That's one way you can date a structure, by looking at the nails. Now here's an interesting artifact. A spigot of some kind. And it's this is brass, then the rest is iron. And that's odd that that would come in like that. I don't see how it could seal unless this part went inside the can, and that's how that ran. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. That's definitely brass there on that knuckle. And then right beside it was this can here. Now that's old school can right there. You know, back, you've got a lead seam there, see that? That's when they were using lead still to seam them up. And then that's an old time can opener. Yeah, pop tops came out, they first started coming out, what was that, 65 or somewhere in there? And they were only available on beer. That was the first one to offer it. And it was kind of a big deal. And I remember asking my mom, do you think they'd ever have them for soda? Because I thought that was the niftiest thing there ever was. And I believe she said eventually they probably will. Of course, Mom was right. Yeah, pretty cool. Okay, so reportedly there's 3 shafts on this claim, and this looks to be one of them. I'd say this is probably the shallower of the 3. And now here you got a pit here, one over there, one there, another one there, and a couple of 3-4 over there in the distance there. I'll tell you what, this place really looks like a war zone. I'm not kidding you. Now it's all grown over and all smoothed out and stuff, but it looks like it's been shelled, you know what I mean, with all these mortar holes. It's amazing. Okay, so I got another can here, fellas, and it certainly ain't no carbide can. It's got this screw lid on it. You know, if I had to guess, I'd say that's a cracker can, but if Any of you guys know what that is for sure, you know, mine related some kind of way, post it in the comments. We'd really appreciate it, because that helps us all understand the past and what some of these things were used for. Now here's a strange deal. Looks like a nozzle of some kind. And what's this? Man, this thing's heavy. Man. It says 3x3. And it obviously broke off up here. Look at that. It looked like it pivoted like this on something. And you see how small it is right there. And then it opens up down on the other end. That's got me. I have no idea. I mean, make a hell of a boat anchor. That's for sure. You know, because it's heavy. Alright. Well, somebody's missing a foot. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh hell, that's that one from that 1893 mine. No fellas, it ain't. It's another foot. I don't know what the deal is, but it's right over here by the remains of this structure right here. There's structure on this site, but they're kind of scattered and there's not much left. And obviously this was leveled off and a building stood here at one point. And yeah, cool. Here's a carbide can here, and you can see now where it says right there, carbide down there on the bottom, Union Carbide, and it's got that flange there so you can turn and open and close them. I haven't seen too many of these lids. It seems like you find the cans, but you don't really find the lids. I don't know why they would have any particular use for them over the can. Now here's an interesting artifact. It looks to me, first off, it's solid iron. Weighs about 25-30 pounds. It looks to me like some kind of a step lever you would step on. Again, we need your help, fellas. Anybody out there that knows what this could have been from, please post it in the comments, because there's a mystery if there ever was one. Wow, pretty cool. Okay, this will be number 3. I don't know what it is, fellas, but these deer feet are everywhere around here. And that one looks almost broken the same kind of way as the other one. That's a strange deal. Fellas, I present to you the enchilada. Finally found it. That's the big one, right there. This has been one hell of a good day here. I'm telling you, finding this stuff, because it's hidden, man. You know, it's not like, you know, real easy to find. And there it is, man. This is the main shaft. You could see how they squared it out. This must be that larger shaft of the 3. And look how they did that. Look how they squared that out. Awesome, awesome, man. Wow, absolutely cool. Very, very cool. Jeez. We'll take you around. Careful not to fall down in there, because there'd be no coming out. That's a sheer wall right there. Sheer wall. Wow. Whew. This is just amazing. Look at that. Wow. Oh man. That's a good 30-40 feet at least. Yeah. So I'll tell you what. From here, let's head on the ground, because she's awaiting. There's more adventure ahead, fellas. Strap yourselves in. All right, we're in. Oh man. Oh boy. I wish y'all were here, really. I mean it, man. You know, because I know if you're watching this, you know, you're like me, and I know you'd really enjoy it. But best I can do is share it with you the way I'm sharing it. So let's take a look here. We got what they call like a gob pile here. Looks like they chased a vein up ahead there for a little bit, and then Looks like that pinched out pretty quick, but they made use of the hole by putting their gob in there rather than haul it out, and then they threw some over here too. This is here right just at the entrance. Wow. Yeah, that's it up there. You can see how it's kind of just running over here. It looks like they got into that right away and kind of checked that one out. There's an old timber right here. So, all right, well, let's push on up ahead. So now I'm looking at this entryway here, and this is the first mine I've been into since the coal fields in West Virginia. We were 600 feet under. This is nowhere near that, a lot less. The entryways there were about 20 feet wide, so you can get a man trip down through there, and the equipment, the continuous miner and the buggy and all that kind of stuff. But this here is mined in a different kind of way because this is old school mining. And I'd say it's probably about 5.5 feet wide and maybe 6 feet where you run into these mercy holes. Right here where you see the top kind of came out. We called those mercy holes in the mine because when you were in low coal, you'd be stooped over all the time, and every now and then you'd come to a hole like that. That's what we call the mercy holes. So the water is probably, well, you can see right there, if I stand right here, it's pretty close to the top of the boot in places. Now there's that track right there. You can see it. It ain't but what, an inch across, maybe inch and a quarter, something like that. And there's some pipe right there. I'd imagine that's for airline, for running their drills. And another pipe here, but I don't know what that's from. I don't know if they ran 2 lines or 1. So, wow. So there was supposed to be something like 14 or so unpatented claims on this mine, and there's 2 cross cuts, and one of them runs 500 feet, and I'm not sure about the other one. This was mostly gold and silver, and like a lot of them, they had a 10 stamp mill where they processed the ore. But as you saw, there isn't much left on the outside. Now here's a interesting deal right there. There's a plug or a pin of some kind up in the roof with a piece of wire wrapped around it. And that had to be for holding something up, I guess. Maybe they had a sign, or I don't know. But now here's some more. Now you can see that oxidation there from the rust or the iron in the ore. There's another one of those wedges up in the top. They've notched that one. And I believe from what it looks like to me that was to support this air line that they had running through here. And this one, they used a square block of wood. Now, what do we have here? Fellas, I think this is the first cross cut. Yep. This is the first one. And it goes down over in there and down over in there. Whoa. Well, what do you say we check this one out? There ain't no track in here, and it kind of doesn't look like they had track in here, but anyway, let's check her out. All right. There's another God pile right here. Yeah, they'd make use of that wherever they can. It beats hauling it out, that's for sure. And that looks like kind of a vein right there. Looks like some sulfides mixed with quartz. But obviously it didn't yield enough for them to continue pursuing it. The roof here looks a little scraggly. Here it's a little low. It's probably just barely 6 feet. Of course, they don't want to remove any more than they need to. Now here's a little stringer right here running through there. And it goes all the way along the sides here. Okay. Well, that looks like the vein they're chasing right there. And it's headed that way. So let's push on up ahead. You can see here where it kind of zigzags. It takes a real turn right here. And then another turn. There's another gob pile. I'd say there was no track in here. If you look at this ground here, they didn't put any track. And it looks like it ends right there. Yep, that's where it ends. And they got a gob pile right there. So that's where it ends, fellas. Let's turn around and check out the other one. That wasn't very far, so I don't know how far that other one goes. This could be the 500 footer, but let's head back to the main entry and check it out. All right, fellas, we're in the main entry again, and this is the one that was on the left. So let's check this one out. The nice thing about this is you're out of the water, so that's nice. Now the roof here looks a little more stable in terms of it, so. Yeah, this looks like the end of it right here. The air don't smell too good in here, fellas. I'm gonna head back out. That air back there, I was feeling a little pressure in my chest, a little dizzy. And here we're at the main entrance. Here would be better here. Like I say, back up in there, I felt like that butt off is a dead zone, and I felt like a little dizzy pressure in my head. So we might have to do a part 2 on this deal, fellas, because it's not safe going in these old mines without some kind of a air indicator. Well, fellas, I'm back. Now, after I ran into that black damp, I decided it wasn't safe to proceed any further without at least some air indicator. So this time I've got my flame safety lamp, my Kohler 209, up and running, and so she's working now. These things are designed to detect methane and also to let you know if there's black damp there. which will give you time to turn around and get the hell out. And so there's not enough air there, and you can die of asphyxiation. And it only takes a few seconds, and you hit that, and you start getting dizzy and you pass out. Although I like being down here, like I always say at the end of my videos, don't forget to be safe, because these places, they are dangerous. I enjoy it, but you've got to proceed with caution and be smart. So anyway, I pushed on up ahead from that last spot where that black dam was, and found this intersection here. And the track takes a bend and goes over that way, and then it goes further on behind me. What do you say we go ahead and check one of these out? Right there looks like a tamp rod for dynamite, and they got a big old 8x8 there. This looked like they drove this up a little bit and pinched out, and they threw their gob pile right in there. That's typical. There's some bolts here that they left from the track, and down here we've got some track ties, and that's a piece of the track. They also got some air pressure line here. Goes up that way. They got a big old pipe right there. Goes up there, and that's obviously for driving their jackhammers. And now if you go up this way, it looks like the vent is still hanging up there on the roof. So let's try this one out first. We'll come around over here. Now here they shored this up here, and it's the first time I've seen that. Now see that big old wedge there? We call that a glut in the coal mines. These air vents are only like 3 feet, and they do come in longer length. The reason is so that they can bend them and turn corners, because when you're driving a section, you got to follow that seam. And so this allows them to, gives them a little flexure. So that's why they're shorter pieces. Anyway, let's push on up ahead. And this one's still hanging. Checking my flame safety lamp, still looks good. So like I said, the one I'm carrying is a Kohler 209, and it's specially designed so that the flame will automatically extinguish itself when the oxygen concentration of approximately 18%. Now, normal concentration of oxygen is 21%. So she'll go out at 18%, and that'll give you time to get out safely. It has saved many a miner over the years, so it's certainly something to think about. Well, we got another turn. And look at that track, the way she turns here. Wow. And they bent this air line too. If you look right there. Yeah, so let's push on ahead. Hell, this is getting more interesting all the time. Well, here it looks like we got some kind of either a roof fall or a butt off. It's amazing they drove that just so little. And looking at this flame safety lamp, now that flame will lower if the oxygen starts to drop, and obviously right now it looks, that's normal, so we're okay. These dead zones though, this is what's like that other one, and boy oh boy. Well, does it go down? No, that's it. That's as far as it goes. All right, let's back out. The butt-offs are particularly susceptible to black damp. So, well, just look how they bent that track. Yeah, I can already feel the air. Although that oxygen didn't drop to 18%, it certainly wasn't as fresh as what I'm feeling out here. Okay, we're back at the intersection, and now we're going to push forward on that one that was behind me. So, Oh, look at that. It almost looks like a hangman's noose. Now here they look like they use rebar on that deal. First time I saw that down here. All right, let's keep on going. Check this out. There's some black there, and there's water just pouring out of that little hole right there. And that's something. And it's coated that rock with some kind of black, could be mineral or it could be algae of some sort. That's pretty cool. Here's some more algae and a little bit of water coming out of that seam there. It looks like there's a little bit of seam, a little stringer vein. And look at that. Looks like a woman's yellow hair. Now there's the track right there. From here to here. That's probably what? About a boot and a half, wide. That's pretty narrow. Yeah, pretty narrow. Now there's some boot prints, and hard to know how old they are, whether they were made in the last 10 years or whether that was when they shut her down. There's really no sign of people being down here in terms of trash and stuff, and it's not easily found, so it's hard to say. Well, fellas, it looks like this makes a real sharp turn right here. It's either that or it ends, but that track continues. That's the sharpest turn I've seen. Oh my word. Wow, this goes way back up in here. You can see the rocks where they drilled. They were using some pretty big drill bits. No, it's 3 fingers wide. Wow. Whew. Well, we'll push on up ahead. Hell. Pretty amazing. And if you're wondering, yeah, it's a little spooky. That squeaking you hear is my flame safety lamp swinging on the hook. Day-o, day-o, daylight come and me wanna go home. This is rocking my world, I'll tell you that right now. No pun intended. Oh man, another fork. No? What do we got there? Look at this, fellas. And then over here, you got another. Of course, over here, it don't look like there's any track. More stalactites. Look at that. They're really formed. Huh. Isn't that something? Pure white. Oh man, look at that. That's almost looks kind of pretty. I mean, look at that. Look at that white. That's kind of pretty. Well, now this here looks like she takes a turn. Wow. It looks like they might have had track here at one time, but they pulled her out, which I'm guessing they drove this up and it ends up here, and then they pulled the track to drive the other section up. So what do we got here? Yep, that's it. So that's it right there. And so they pulled the track to make use of it back on the other end. So just turn around and head back. Okay, so we're at that other fork. It's actually a fork within a fork. So we'll drive this up ahead a little bit, see what we get. Again, the track is missing here, so I'm thinking they drove her up and pinched out and turned around. I don't want to keep it too bright for too long. Well, we come across our first artifact down here. Oh, another pinch off. And another one. So here's a bucket, heavily galvanized. And you can see the seam. Still rusted though, but so let's check the flame safety lamp. Still looks all right. Let's push up ahead on here. Now that ends right there. Yeah, that ends right there. So that pinched out pretty quick. Once again, push up ahead. They pulled the track on this one, so look at here. That's a box. My guess is that would be dynamite. You can see where they actually those look like dovetails. Yes, I think they are. It's kind of heavy. Probably just soaking wet. It ain't metal, that's for damn sure. Not no dynamite. Cool. This makes another turn. Mercy, this is big. Well, this looks like where this one ends. Yeah, that's one thing you can tell if you got track in the main entry, and then you come to these little forks. And if you look down and you don't see any track, it means it's not going to go very far, that they pulled the track to lay it someplace else. Yeah, have a look in there. That's that airline. Well, right here is that other switch. And what do you say we press onward? Got some miner's graffiti there. Can't read it out, but it don't look inviting. And here, they drove this up just a little ways. And mercy me, do we have another fork here? Ooh, look what we got, fellas. Man, oh man. We got some timber set here, fellas. And that top doesn't look awful good. And right up there, if you look, you'll see where they ran some electric for lights back up in here. And that one timber there is plumb rotted. So, look how they did that one. Yeah, this top looks kind of sketchy. It's all kind of hanging all over. Don't see any recent roof, any falls except for over here. But look at that. That ain't very good. And look at it in here. There's a lot of rust back up in there. Hey, don't look too good, fellas. Let me check my flame safety lamp here. Uh-oh, she went out. I'm out of here. I'm just wondering if that was why that skeleton was there. Because there's black damp up in there. That's the first time I see her go out like that. Well, fellas, that's going to do it for this underground adventure. We're going to have to end her right there because this flame safety lamp went out, and man, I am sure glad I had her with me. I was a little tempted to keep pushing that a little further, even though it looked kind of dicey, but it would have been a mistake because there's definitely black damp up in there, and she's at least this deep. But you don't come across too many like this, so this is kind of special, and I was really glad to share it with y'all. Until next time, thanks for tuning in to Dakota Prospecting. Hey, and always stay safe. We'll see you later. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Work all night on a drink of rum. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Stack banana till the morning come. Daylight come and me wanna go home. Hey oh, hey.